Welcome back to the Real Life and Fishing Podcast. I'm the host, Jimmy Easterling. Today, our guest has had a run over the past couple years in the top tier tournaments in the state of Arkansas. His name is Matt Baker. Just to share a couple notables from Matt's achievements, this last year he was the Mr. Bass Angler of the Year. In 2022, he won the Trader Bills Team Championship. In 2021, he was a part of the Trader Bills Team of the Year. And also in this past year, he won 2 of the Mr. Bass tournaments, and then he also won a Arkansas Bass Team Trail tournament out here on Lake Greason, where we're at today. Matt also had a successful college fishing career as well. At Arkansas Tech in 2018 and 2020, they were part of the Team of the Year in the Arkansas Collegiate Series. They also won the championships of those years as well. Just as an outsider looking in, guys, just me following the tournament fishing scene and just knowing the people that I do, Matt's pretty unique because he's had success on a very broad range of waters, from Lake Ouachita to Gray, Hamilton, Greason right here, to Lake Darnell and to Lake Millwood down here in southwest Arkansas. Guys, before one thing we're about to find out about Matt, he's a really successful angler, but he's also a good person as well. I'm glad to have him on. Now let's get into it. This episode today is brought to you by Swaha Marina, that is located at Lake Greason. Swaha Marina is a family-owned lodging and marina facility that can provide you all of your needs for an excellent day or weekend on the water. Swaha offers a variety of lodging facilities, from campsites, RV sites, housing, cabins. If you need a pontoon boat to rent for the weekend, they have that for you. If you're also interested in catching some fish, Lake Greason is a great lake for crappie fishing, bass fishing, and why don't you go ahead and give a call and ask for one of your local guides. Our guest today, Matt Baker, is even one of the guides. But guys, most importantly, Swaha Marina is a family-owned, operated business. Come out and support Swaha Marina. Have you a great day or weekend at Lake Greason. And hey, now let's get into this podcast with Matt Baker. Matt, man, hey, I appreciate you being on today. Like I said, I know we were just talking a little bit before we started recording, guys. And just real quick, if anybody wants the unaired footage of me and Matt talking, I will start the bidding process. Just email me or shoot me a message on my Facebook page. Me and Matt were just talking some juice right there. And I say juice, he's not really sharing much information. But guys, y'all have already heard the intro on Matt, and I'm going to kind of let him kind of get into a little story. I know Greason, Swaha Marina, this part of the state means a lot to you.
It does. I'm very blessed to be born where I'm from, and with the people in my family that I was born with and have, and I've just been a blessing.
Yeah, so your dad, I just seen from tournaments, right? I see you fish with, well, I guess it's your dad, Paul Baker, right? Mm-hmm. So I see y'all fish together. He's had an impact on you? Is that right, maybe?
Oh, yeah, he's been dragging me fishing with him since I can remember. First tournament win was right here on that porch right down there here at Swaha, and it's Pike County Fair tournament. I think I was 9. I was
9 years
or
old.
10. And
so Pike County Fair tournament, all right? So I'm new to Howard County, this part of the country. Or it's part of the state, country, whatever. But you're 9 years old. There's probably a lot of hammers in that tournament, right?
Oh, yeah. It was always, it's going to take 6 fish limit, and it's always going to take over 18 to win that if it falls right in the springtime.
Well, so you're 9 years old. What year was that?
I was probably around 2009 or 10.
So 2009 or 10. So probably, and guys, just so you know, it's a Friday right now. Matt's about to go fish a tournament after this. And I'm saying some of those guys in that tournament were probably in that tournament then.
Oh, definitely, yeah. They were
like Trent, his dad, JC, all them guys. So yeah, so no telling. I wonder if they were thinking when you won it that this guy one day is going to be giving us a hard time out here.
Oh, I don't know about that. I don't know. I spent a lot of time out here and the other lakes around here too.
Yeah.
Where you live in Glenwood, Arkansas, you're within 45 minutes of 4 of the hammer lakes in Arkansas that you got to be good on to win tournaments.
So I mentioned it in the intro. You didn't hear my intro, but I mentioned it how just me watching and just thinking about it. You've won at Ouachita major tournaments, DeGray, Hamilton, this past year Hamilton and Greason. And those are the 4 in your circle. But then you've won I know you've had success at Darnell and Millwood, which are total opposites of these lakes.
Yeah.
I think it's makes you a well-rounded angler.
I went fish for Tech for 4 years, so yeah. I got to learn a lot about Dardanelle in those 4 years, and it's still a humbling place. But
Millwood's a humbling place too. I know. Millwood and Darnell are kind of similar. You could say they're similar in ways, but Millwood to me, like my first couple years here, I didn't have bad trips. Like there would be some times when the water's rising or low or getting low, but like lately it's been taking 12, 13 to win, and like it used to be like don't even weigh your 15 pounds, and now it's like it's hard to get 10 pounds.
I think it's just in a little. It'll come back. But Dardanelle's been doing that. This up and down here and there. And one fall we think it's horrible. Then the next spring it's going to be the best it's ever been. And so it's back and forth like that too.
So you like to fish tournaments, like, and I say you do because I know we were kind of talking, and I told you I just didn't really fish tournaments, or I don't really as much. What's your love for them? Like, what drives you?
Oh, just the dream of making it one day. I went to school at Tech to fish for them. I mean, they do have great academics as well, and I got a degree in ag business animal science. But really, that ATU fishing team is what pulled me there, and I fished as much as I could while in school there.
And ATU, me and Cannon talked about in the last show that there's been a lot of great anglers out of there. You're one we mentioned, but I mean, there's been a few come out of there. Evan Barnes is one I know of. I mean, I can go down the list. I know, and even not just males. There's been Reagan's one. I mean,
Brown.
Reagan, when she was up there, man, dude, she was catching big fish and doing and being successful. And I think you probably, and you mentioned it, your goal is to try to make what the BPT Invitationals or the Elites, right?
That's right.
And this last year, you fished the Toyota Series, and you were like right outside the line. Do you know if you're gonna?
I've made the championship. I finished 10th in points.
Okay, so are you? What's that invitational to get in it?
I don't know the line on the invitational. I kind of have to take it one thing at a time.
Yeah.
But the Toyota Series Championships this fall at Table Rock.
Yeah.
And I think it's 200,000 to win.
Wow.
I'm pretty sure.
That would be.
That'd
big.
be a game changer.
That'd be big. You'd be
I
taking
think that's
your
right.
dad to the beach, huh? Dad, mom down at the beach.
Yeah.
So if you want to be, I know you want to be at the top. Growing up, what was your who's your favorite pro? Like, if there's a guy you liked or wanted to, just kind of grew to.
Style of fishing, I'd say Brian Thrift. He's real versatile. He likes to skip a jig and power fish. He can finesse them when he wants to, and he has to. There's a bunch of them. I don't know. Mark Rose, I really like that guy.
Yeah.
I like watching Mark Rose. And, of course, you got Larry Nixon and the legends of it.
Yeah.
And there's a bunch of them that really are just super. I'm a fan of a ton of them.
You're a fan of all of them. I have respect for them all, and they're good. Like, as I've gotten older, I realize it's hard. Like, now I say that, and that's why it was one of the questions. I had somebody on the outside wanted me to ask you this question, but like at that top level, they're legit. You got to get there and make it. But you've had success in the Toyotas this last year, and just outside the state, like with the collegiate. But fishing against these guys do you think that's helped prepared you for sure?
Oh yeah, I think I fish against the toughest guys in the world. Right here.
and then Texas will say the same thing though too.
Yeah.
But I know, like, I think these lakes. I've always said it because so many Arkansas anglers make it. If you can figure out Ouachita to Gray, and then go catch them at Darnell, I think you have a shot to make it.
The difference, I think, in here in Texas is the weights. I mean, you got to fish and beat all these guys and do it with 13 or 14 pounds.
Yeah.
So it's a grind all day, or sometimes 17, 18. But down there, there's a lot of competition down there. But they're getting lots of bites, catching lots of huge fish.
Yes. I love Texas. If I had the money, I'd have a place at OHIV right now. Have a place at OH. Podcast is brought to you by Futrell Marine. Man, for me, it always means a lot to work with a business that has a great family history. The Futrells are great people, and they started off with their store here in Nashville, Arkansas, where I'm located right now. Since then, they've had 3 more stores across the state. You've probably seen and heard about the one on Lake Hamilton. They also got a store at Heber Springs. Hey, if you're looking for a newer used boat, check out Futrell Marine, and they can also serve you in any of your boating needs. All right, so Matt, real quick, I know you shared a little bit about a boating accident at Darnell one time, and Darnell's scary. Kind of get into that.
Well, it was a 2-day ACA tournament, so it was the national level tournament televised on Dardanelle. And day 1 we were sitting in like 12th. I think it was 210 roughly boats in it. And day 2 we start off down around Russellville, and we was going to head up to our fish later. And we weren't sure the size of the fish that were on that hole anyway, so we was kind of just keeping them in our back pocket. But it was a rough day. Wind coming out of the north down the channel, and anybody that's familiar with Dardanelle knows when that wind's blowing either up or down the channel, either one, it can get pretty rough. And we took off up there, and it was raining nasty, and right above, right there at what they call the Piney Bend, I guess, right above Piney, it got a lot rough right there, and we weren't going very fast, and we were airborne every wave just about.
Wow.
And here in just a second, the boat sucked down real tight to the water, and I was gonna turn my head and see what in the world was. It just didn't feel right, but it was a split second. We did a 360, we get stopped, and I went from having two hands on the wheel to my shoulder right here just dead legging Corey pretty much, my partner, and he's sitting there grabbing my leg.
Yeah.
I'm like, I break it? Are you all right? And he said, I'm all right. I don't think it's broke. And there's water running through the floor of the boat. We turn around. There's no motor on the back of the boat. It was gone. And boat pulls up on us that was practicing for another tournament. It was two older guys. And they asked us, they said, we saw a giant wall of water. We pulling over here. See you lost your motor or something. So they ended up towing us into Piney boat ramp, and we was dragging that motor under the boat. Didn't know it till we got to the ramp. It was actually hanging about 6 feet under the back of the boat from like lines and stuff.
Yeah, so y'all are lucky. Like I've not experienced a motor coming off a boat yet, but like after hearing the stories and even that, it makes me want to get one of those cables that I'm starting to see.
Yeah.
That's, you know, whoever came up with that, it's a great idea for that. That piece of paper is going to keep bothering me. But man, that's crazy. Now I want to ask you this question. When you were talking about this boat flying in the air, I'm not going to share my Millwood. I had one boating accident at Millwood. I'm not going to share it yet. But have you ever fell in a lake before while fishing?
Oh yeah, at Millwood.
Actually. At Millwood, okay, there we go.
We were fishing a tournament at Millwood, and it was hot. I was about 13 or 14, and we drove by this about 5 or 6 foot gator, and fishing was slow, and I was just joking around. Dad said, "Dad, you drive me over there by that little gator. I'll jump on his back and wrestle him."
No way.
And he said, "Oh, you crap too. You know, you get over there and your eyes would get big, and you wouldn't do it." Well, we just went back to fishing, and we were going up to there, and it's about 5 minutes. And I'm standing there, and it's dead of summer, you know, it's 100 in the shade.
Okay.
And I'm holding a heavy action rod braid on it, you know, a big old Chronarch or something like that. And I'm just sitting there sweating, and the rod actually falls out of my hand. Didn't have a good hold of it. Well, I jump and catch it before I even hit the water. Instead of, if we're in 4 foot, I wasn't thinking, but I catch the rod before I even hit the water, then I hit the water, and Dad turns around. He said, "My goodness, I thought you done jumped on that gator."
Wow. Let's say one thing, you know,
I got in the boat pretty quick.
Yeah, well, I there you go. That's good. I'm not the only one that's fallen in at Millwood then. So this tournament, I fell in at Millwood, and it was kind of scary. I was lucky because I was in shallow water. I was near shallow water, but like there was a little ditch where we're at, and I actually had a kid with me, and we were fishing a tournament. It was probably my worst tournament ever at Millwood. It was a spring tournament. I started off running to one main lake area where me and about 4 or 5 other dudes ran over there. No one caught fish that day over there. Just kind of happens, you know. But the water was dropping. And then we went over there, caught a bunch of fish. But then we came back to the river, and the river was fire. Like, you know, this is that day the river was fire. And me not practicing, put me in a bind. Well, we go in the river, went to this one hole that already got hit up by someone I knew. They got second in the tournament. And, dude, we go in there, and I hit a log, like a submerged, you know, standing timber, big old tree, right? And my bass cat, as you guys know, is skinny. And I hit, and my foot did this. It went forward. And I saw my rods. I didn't want to step on them. My kind of handles right there. I missed it, and my foot was going in the lake. Like, and I kind of bounced, and I just jumped because I didn't want to, like, hit my shin. I landed out there in the water. I full up, went under, and then, but like right over there on the bank was a giant gator. I get up, you know, it's March, so the water's like 57, 58, maybe 60. It was hot that day, so it might have got warm. And that kid comes up there freaking out, you know, "Hey, what are you doing?" And I go to get back in, and then, of course, when I grab the boat to get in, there's all my lures. There's a crankbait, there's a buzzbait, and I'm like, "Oh, I'm not going on that crankbait." So then I went down and went on the other end. But, so I went in with you, old Millwood. And guys, if just with that, I have to do a little plug right here for my man Michael Howard. Michael Howard, that was actually his son with me that day. If you're looking for life insurance, hey, go ahead and give Michael Howard of Farm Bureau a call down here in Nashville, Arkansas. Michael's a good fisherman. He's one that's done a lot for me since I've been in Nashville. And guys, if you need anything, I'll put his information down there in the contact below. But give him a call with that. Have you ever fell in anywhere else?
Not that I know of. I have in ponds and stuff over the years.
Yeah.
I ain't got a story that sticks out right away.
So with the college fishing, you've done a lot of traveling.
Yeah.
Have you had any crazy experiences while traveling?
Yeah. I've had a lot of breakdowns, but besides that, we always hunting the cheapest place we could stay, and there's 2 teams of us going to Hartwell one time.
Yeah.
And a buddy of ours booked the place, and we got there. We didn't know what to expect, but we were staying in the upstairs of a house, and the owners lived in the downstairs. Well, we walk in, the first thing we see is they have 2 pet albino skunks.
Albino skunks.
Yeah, they're white skunks. So that was different, and we're like, oh, okay.
So like they were just in normal cages or like a glass deal?
I look over at Jade. I said, was this in the write-up or what?
I mean, yeah, what are we doing?
No, they were just free roaming the living room.
Really?
And we go upstairs, and there's a balcony, and at night, one of them walked by or something. Y'all got to check this out.
Yeah.
They said these skunks have like come alive down here. I guess they were nocturnal. And the young one, there was a young skunk and an old skunk. The young one's like doing hot laps around the living room. It was running behind the couch, through the coffee table, behind the recliner, and it did that for like an hour straight. Maybe all night. I don't know. We watched it for a while, just running hot laps there.
Guys, I hope y'all are picturing a skunk running through your living room right now.
I didn't want to go downstairs, really.
Like my dog, like 2 weeks ago got hit up by a skunk, and man, dude, he still smells. Like today he even smelled, and so like that, I hate that skunk smell.
That's just crazy. I don't know why you'd want one of those as a pet. It was kind of crazy.
Now, where was this at again?
This is in Hartwell.
So this last year, Matt, you were Angler of the Year in Mr. Bass, which is, man, when you look at all the Angler of the Years, the history of it, I mean, there's been a lot of big names, and even Elite Series professionals, FLW pros. I mean, so what does that mean to you?
Oh, it means a ton. Being a Mr. Bass Angler of the Year was a goal of mine. I would consider almost long term. You know? And second year fishing Mr. Bass, and to get it done, it's unbelievable. It just didn't seem to. It's kind of unfolds differently than you would expect it to.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you're not on fish, you somehow have a good tournament. You're on fish, you have a good tournament.
Yeah.
Just to have 4 good tournaments in a row, win 2 of them, it was crazy, and you couldn't draw it up any better. Once it's over, you look back at it and go, you know, I know it's a hard task to do, but it's just like going fishing every day.
Yeah, and now with that, though, I'm going to lead up. It didn't just happen overnight. I mean, it took years of fishing, work, your family, and even other people that's poured into you. You know, like I know me, I have probably 5 to 6 adults, because my family, I love my dad and my mom, right? But like, they didn't fish. Like my dad fished. We went to some rivers and stuff, but like he wasn't a tournament angler. And so, but I had other people that would take me, teach me. I had one guy loan me a boat for 3 years. Like, he was my pastor in my church. Just let me use the skeeter whenever. And so, like, that was mine. And I know you had Dad. You probably had others. But you've been fishing for tournaments since you were 10.
For sure. There's all kinds of people I give credit to.
Yeah.
Most of all, I got to give credit to God, because you can't give God any glory in it, but you need to do something else. I mean, that's the way I feel about it. He blessed me with where I'm at. He blessed me with the dad I have, the mom I have, brother I have, you know, the family I have, the area I live in, the people, the relationships I've built in fishing, and the people that in this community that supported me. I mean, there's a lot of people around here I feel like are pulling for me, and that helps a ton to go for it. You know, it's one of those careers you tell somebody you're going to try to fish for a living. Like, well, what do you really want to try to do?
Yeah, that's right. That's right. That's like in tournament fishing right now is probably harder than ever to make a career out of it. It's getting to a point where boats are expensive. Entry fees are still high. The tournament winnings are the same now as they were 10 years ago, but people still do it. And I know, like, if you have that drive, I've always, you know, how I got told, if you have a goal, you got to go for it. And I think you're going for it right now. I mean, you're taking sacrifices. That's what I do. Some people, you know, just thought I just got in this editing world and just got it kind of handed. Well, I've been editing since I was like 12 years old. Like, I was before phones and computers were a thing, and then, you know, like, I did quit my job with retirement and insurance, and now I'm here with a kid and another one on the way, and it's like, what you're doing, I mean, you got a degree, you can go make more money, but you're taking a sacrifice, but it's what you want to do, and it's fun.
And there's these businesses locally that are behind me, supporting me, and I really appreciate them a ton, and just some people in the community. There was a guy that passed away a couple years ago.
Yeah.
He was a top fan of mine. I mean,
what was his name?
Jim West.
Jim West, okay.
He was an amazing man. He'd call me before every tournament. College tournament, didn't matter. Big tournament, I was fishing with Dad. The night before the tournament, I'd count on a call from him. He'd say, well, you on. You catch him. How's practice going? And I'd tell him sometimes, well, I'm not on him. Well, you know, I found a little deal today. I don't know if it's how good it is. Hope it's real good. And every time he'd end the phone call with, "You'll get him. I know you will." You know, so he was just really pulling for me and praying for me on all
Yeah.
of those. It was meant a ton.
Nice. That's so cool to hear, man. That really is. So it does take them people, Matt, to kind of get behind you. Now, also real quick, I see you've talked about community, the relationships you have. You have people in the community sponsoring you, businesses, man. Any you like to just talk about real quick? I know we're in the middle of the show, but just to give a thanks to.
Oh yeah, Trader Bill's, people at Trader Bill's, they back me, and they own the 2 most competitive trails in the state of Arkansas. If you want to fish against some absolute crazy good fishermen, those guys right there, they'll either make you better or they'll make you want to quit.
That's right. Now the Trader Bill's Team Series, which was one you fish, and then it's Mr. Bass. So we have the Trader the Team Series, the Solo Series. I think that Mr. Bass Solo Series, man, like it's hard.
It's hard.
It's hard. Then the Team Series, which is interesting. And we were just talking about the team series off air. I like the team series how there's no practice. Like, I think that's something unique. Now, what that does is it opens the doors for your people that you don't hear about to show up and catch a bag at times. And then, someone like me, when I was a coach and a teacher, I couldn't get out there and practice. So now I can all of a sudden. And so when I was an early angler, a young angler, kind of coming up, and I thought about tournaments, I realized that some of these hammers do practice, or they had jobs that let them. Now your sacrifices, you're going to go, you farm, and you do the crappie stuff. So you're over here like, hey, I'm not going to have a job because I'm going to try to make fishing work. So that's the thing you're doing that people I know don't realize. They're like, oh, Matt's on the water. No, Matt's living check to check off this, guys. I mean, he's really.
I'm cutting. I'm on a tractor car.
Yeah, but okay, you're on the tractor. So this guy's on the farm, but I mean, he's really trying because like I do know some other guys at work, but then they somehow, like Millwood this last year. I'm not going to name names. I know guys that came down though for the Millwood Mr. Bass might have fished for 4 days, 3 days, a week, and I'm just like, how'd you do it? Now, like the guys that are retired are a different story, but the guys that are working, I'm like, man, like I wish I had like even in college fishing, like there's some dudes and them. Like I found out some dudes came to fish okay for 4 days, and I'm like, dude, I wish I can go fish okay for 4 days, but it takes that sometimes.
Yeah, that tournament at Millwood you're talking about, I didn't get to practice much because I had one the day before on this.
You were busy. That's when you're fishing the multiple tournaments. So like this year you had. There was Washita and Hamilton were back to back, right?
Mr. Bass.
Yeah, so
one was the first tournament of the year, and one was the last tournament of the year.
Okay,
Mr. Bass.
But the team trail was Washita, then the next day Mr. Bass Hamilton. Was that right? Maybe.
I may have been. I fished me tournament.
You fished, yeah.
Arkansas Bass Team Trail, and then a Trader Bill's Team Trail, Mr. Bass, and a bunch of local.
You had a bag at Hamilton, though, is what I was getting. You had a bag. I mean,
it was a good tournament, and I was not on those fish.
You weren't on fish?
Oh, well, I was on fish, but it was completely different.
See, it changed. That's the thing. The conditions changed. So, did your area get muddied up? Because I knew people practicing for Mr. Bass.
The area I caught him in practice was clear water, and the area I caught him in tournament was muddy water. So I ended up figuring them out in the mud. Yeah. And it was slick and sunny, and that clear water, I couldn't get them to bite.
Yeah.
So I caught like 5 and some big fish in clear water in the practice day on Friday. I had a tournament that Saturday. That's the one. Yeah, on Saturday I had a tournament at Washita.
It was Trader Bill's at Washita, right. And then Mr. Bass was Hamilton the next day because Washita, the lake rose, right? Mm-hmm. And the guys
we didn't catch them.
Yeah, it was like a lot of the that was a tournament like people struggled, but there's still some bags brought in.
Yeah, that's the one at 29.
The 29 was brought in. Now I don't know the guys that brought the 29 in people, but I mean I think I heard they didn't have live scope. I don't know, but like that just shows that people sometimes you don't gotta have it, okay? But I would prefer to fish with it.
Well, I didn't use it the next day at Hamilton. I could have just I may have left it off. I don't even know if I had it on or off.
So I know you have it. Let me your boat, okay? Do you? Because I thought I saw a photo of. Are you running a Triton?
I am.
Is it a newer or older Triton?
It's a 05.
So okay, so you run those in all the tournaments.
All of them. Texas.
Okay. I went. Here's my because I thought I saw that. I love it. But what trolling motor do you got?
4-Trex.
Sweet. All right, everybody, listen to that. I got so and when you go see Brad Dill in a minute, give him a hard time. Brad, when he fished with me the other night at Derek's. I have a 4-Trex, okay? I've been fishing with the 4-Trex forever. I mean, an old Trex is cool, I'm not going to lie. You catch a fish, spot lock, that's cool, okay? But Brad jumped in the boat with me and I had a 4-Trex, and it, man, messed him up. Because once you have it, it's hard to go back. But you fished offshore most of your life, right? I have, and, I'm over here, I still do it without it. But he's been winning tournaments with a 4-Trex, everybody. I love it.
I like 4-Trex.
Yeah.
To me, I like the cable steering of it, the scoping, and if you're spot locked, you're not slime scoping.
That's true. No, I will say that. I like the scope right now, and
they're tough. They're really Fortrix is really tough. I got
Yes.
3 of them. I got one for parts, one backup, one on my boat. So.
But if anybody wants to give him an old Trex, he might take it. But
I'll put it on.
yeah, but because I'm over here, I've been debating on the old Trex with the new one coming out. You know, there's always issues and problems with the new one coming out. I actually thought about getting the other one finally, and it helps with guiding and with the kids in the boat because I can just spot lock, tell them throw the brush pile. But I've been in them lately with the electronic lessons I've done, and like I know people are like, oh hey, just spot lock and throw with that brush. I'm like, no, I wanna see the brush. I want to pan it, and I can stay off of it, but. Anyway, that's nice. Yeah, you give Brad a hard time for me because
I'll do it. I'll try to give Brad a hard time anytime I can.
Yeah, nice.
But I got also a lot of thanks to Gwen's boat repair, Danny Gwen up in Canada. Man, when I have problems, all boats do, and as much as I fish, so Steph tears up all the time, and he gets me back on the water, and then American Termite Pest Control, Bobby Adcock, and them they support me. They want to back me, and I'm thankful for it. And Vicious Fishing Line, Yum Baits.
So you're at Pradco.
I'm Pradco.
I was going to ask that because I know I've seen you share the Yum and the Booyah. So you're Pradco. That's a good one to be with because you have everything. I mean, I say everything, almost everything. You got your hard baits, your soft baits. I'm pretty sure you're probably a fan of the Yum Scottsboroughs.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I'm just making a guess. So, I know me and you've talked about the live scope a little bit behind the scenes. Once again, guys, whoever wants that unedited stuff, just give me a call. But I know you've probably been throwing the Yum Scottsboro for a long time, right?
Well, since they first made some, I got a bunch of the off-colored ones.
So just so you know a little bit about me, because I know you've been catching them with an Alabama rig probably forever. So I jumped on the train when it came out. I remember that first year, Lake to Gray. I was at college at Henderson. And once again, everybody, this was pre-live scope, okay? But that first year at Henderson, and I was a football coach. So I was a student, but I was also a coach with the university. So I could only fish in February, part of March, May, parts of November, December. But February, I was out there every chance I could get. And dude, that first year, it was unbelievable. I mean, it was just crazy. Yeah. I mean, they'd eat that thing shallow, eat that thing deep, go up the river, throw it. I mean, it was dumb. Then the next year, it kind of got tougher. And I know you've always just kept catching them with it. But I kind of quit throwing it. I will tell people, I quit throwing it because the Elite Series guys couldn't throw it. And I was like, hey, if they don't throw it, why should I throw it? That's why I never had a net in my boat. I have a net now that when people fish with me, but like I just grew up without a net in my boat because Kevin Van Dam couldn't use a net. So I was like, hey, I'll just go down and get it.
Yeah.
But I know you've probably evolved with the Alabama rig pre-scope and now, huh? It's crazy, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, live scope now, you're like you said it earlier, I think off camera, a lot of times you're hunting.
It's hunting. I say it's hunting.
Yeah.
And guys like how I like to fish, since I don't fish tournaments, and that's what Matt, guys, is he just said he didn't need it at Hamilton. The water got muddy, did its thing. But how I'm fishing right now, I like to catch big fish. Now, I got to make content. I got to do certain stuff for our YouTube channel. But I just rather catch like 1 or 2 5-pounders and catch 10 2-pounders. And that might hurt me when it comes to a tournament. Like if I fished Mr. Bass or the Trader Bill's Team Series, I might come in with a giant bag one tournament and the next tournament 0. Like I'm gonna be Mr. Inconsistent. No angler of the year for me.
all these lakes most of the time are tough. It's like you can catch 17, 18 pounds and look back and go, that's a tough day of fishing. I mean,
that's right.
It's a grind all day on these lakes out here, and you've got to stick with it because there may be a bite window and it may be tough all day, but you got to keep plugging. You just got to keep slinging all day. But Toad Thumper lures in Derrick's, Arkansas, they make the finest frog ever been made.
That frog is really good.
I love to catch them on that, and I'm not scoping when I'm using that much either.
Yeah, see, I like that frog, and I'm not a big frog guy, as I've always told some people. Now, I like their soft plastics. I love that craw gill. I put that craw gill in some videos, and I've caught some fish lately with it on a swing head, just fishing it around rock spots, whatever. But their frog, it's real easy to walk compared to the other kind of brands, but that's just me.
It walks, it hooks up really good. They eat it. That's the best. But I've got a couple more companies. I got a thing. It's Pro One Transmission in Texarkana, new one this year, and they jumped on board, believe in me, and really no reason outside of just who I am, I guess.
Nice.
To do it, and thankful for them, and also Bath Plain of Arkansas and Hot Springs. Chris Kusik's another fellow fisherman, and he loves to support people in the sport too.
Nice. Good deal. Where's Bath Planet at?
It's in Hot Springs.
Hot Springs?
That branch is, yeah. Bath Plain of Arkansas.
Good deal. So there, I guess is it a more, I guess, nationally or just?
It's a national brand, but that's the Arkansas branch, I guess.
Okay.
That's how it works.
Awesome. Bath Planet. I'm going to have to check it out. Check it out, man.
Bath remodel?
Yeah. Hey, one question I do want to ask. In the morning, this was one question I thought would be funny or just fun to see. In the morning when you're going to the tournaments, Washita, DeGray, wherever, do you have a song you're listening to? Do you have rituals, or you have that radio off?
I'm usually late.
You're a late guy?
On the verge of it.
Really? So you just wake up late, or do you mean you just the coffee or what?
Just getting around. I'll turn that alarm off a few times, and I'm late a lot. I'm not always late. And it seems like I'm late more often when I'm fishing a team tournament than when I'm by myself. I guess I put more pressure on myself if I'm solo.
Yeah. See, there's a lot of guys I know like. Just around here, either they'll show up like 20 minutes before the deal starts. That might.
Oh, yeah, that's on.
That's
time.
you.
That's
That bothers me, man. Like I was always the guy like early. My boat's in, or the couple times I fish, even those high school stuff. But like I get paranoid about it. But I guess you're just chill, calm. But I mean, are we listening to metal in the morning? Are we listening to country? Are we listening to?
If it's a team tournament and I'm not driving, I'm gonna try to catch some Z's on the way.
Really? Yeah. That's what I'm talking about.
And I get a cup of coffee in me though, and I like listening to classic rock mostly.
Okay.
Well, maybe even some Back in Black or TNT or something.
I wonder what I told you, Brad. I got Brad coming on, and Timmy's going to come on too. I'm going to ask him that same question.
Yeah.
What's y'all's morning ritual? For me, for a long time, not lately, like not in years, but like when I was younger, it was Metallica.
Yeah.
I mean, dude, we're playing Enter Sandman. We're playing, the Injustice album. I mean, we were rocking. And we were rocking until that first hour we wouldn't catch a fish, or if it was fired up right away.
Yeah, I'll listen to probably at least one good song before I get to the boat ramp, maybe. Maybe just putting it in the water or something.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't get too caught up in it, but I just try to get a strategy, I guess, practice, and then I think about it a lot, how it's going to go that morning too, and just try to keep my head in it. And you got to get in the zone during the tournament. There's I call it get the ball rolling and keep it rolling type deal. And the earlier the better. Yeah. So if you catch a big fish or a good fish on your first or second spot, and then maybe another one, and you start clicking, you can tell. You can look back on the day after it's over and be like, man, that fish right there, that bite right there really clued me in. And it's usually completely different than practice. So it's almost like a whole new day. Practice will give you an idea of the depth or what the fish are kind of holding to cover wise, but you got to figure it out that day most of the time.
Yeah, and that's one thing I like watching the BPT stuff with the live, like in just the format. It was that all catch format, but now it's back to the 5 fish. But like Jacob Wheeler kind of put it out there. Other guys probably did it, but Jacob's practicing during those first 2 rounds. And when I started seeing that, I was like, this dude's still fishing. Because those are also 4-day tournaments, but that's what you're saying. I mean, you're still out there trying to figure out, not just get set that, I had a bite here, I'm going to go right back. And you're, because that's the whole thing is, I think the really good anglers, just the ones even I know, and I say I know, I kind of took a break from tournaments, but then when I came down here, I fished one with Michael pretty soon at Derek's. And I watched him make decisions on the fly that was just like, wow. And I took that day. That like, hey, he didn't just fish history. And Derek's, as you know, people that don't know Derek's, it's a 4,000-acre lake. 40 boats on it of all locals. It fishes, I mean, it's hard.
10 of them's on the good spots.
Yes, no, that's right. That's the other thing. Yeah, that's 100%. So Michael's here, and Michael, this is something I learned. I shouldn't tell that. Anyway, I learned something about Michael from this lake that's kind of interesting, because this lake has a lot of, good spots. Yeah. But anyway, Michael, that day, we had a couple bites and depth in areas, and all of a sudden, that's what he was looking for. It wasn't, I caught a big fish here before. It was, hey, here, we're going to do here, boom, boom, boom. And I watched it go down that day, and I was like, yep, I'm taking this. And I have. Like, it's crazy. I know people that's fished with me even since. I'm like, hey, I haven't caught a fish here in 2 weeks, but let's go give it a shot. And they're like, huh? And I'm like, I haven't even fished it. And then all of a sudden we go there and catch a fish. And they're like, what do you mean? I'm like, dude, I'm fishing the moment, as it's called, just fishing the time. So I'm saying that's part of your.
And different bodies of water are different, of course, but Dardanelle's a big time junk fishing place. Lots of time. Like when we were going to school there, we'd almost call them our pet fish. Like you pull up here and throw a jig by that rock and get a good one.
Yeah.
You go over here and that stretch, throw a square bill on and catch a good one. We'd have these kind of little places, and it was like, wow, you can hardly say it was a time of year pattern.
Yeah.
It's really just those fish are in those areas and the technique we had confidence in catching them in, which that's not the best way to approach a tournament, but it worked for us several times.
I say Millwood's one.
Weighing 5 fish on 4 baits.
Yeah, Millwood's one to where it's it was like that for a while, but now they're not setting up just like that. But there was a time to where like you go here, you're gonna throw this bait. Go here, do this. Go here, throw a frog. And now it's kind of, I don't know where they're at. I had a shell bed that was hot last year, and I've not been fishing out there as much this year, but there was a shell bed up that river that was hot. And I've had other ones in the past that were, and they're not like, they haven't been fire. I don't know why. But there's a couple times to where like I knew, hey, at 9:30 in the morning, this one's going to be on. Hey, at like 11 o'clock, this one's going to be on. Hey, come over here, let's go fish these trees. But not lately, which I haven't been fishing much either, so... But
yeah, it's timing's huge. I mean, there's just so many factors in fishing.
Real quick, back from the commercial there. I was asking you about what's been a good bait for you this year, because I saw Washita. You mentioned a jig that caught your big bass, but then you just brought up a jig's been good for you in multiple tournaments, right?
Yeah, there's always fish that eat a jig. You just gotta find them. But that do-all jig, I mean, you can catch them in 8 foot. Or less than that, 4 foot of water and 40 foot of water is that War Eagle Jiu-Jitsu jig, and Christy won the classic with it a couple years ago. It's a phenomenal jig. I throw it a bunch, and I've been throwing that covert spinnerbait a lot too.
So the spinnerbait, like you say, it's a good spinnerbait. I like it. Now I know I might throw Brads too quite a bit, but with that spinnerbait, do you have a tandem you like, or do you just fish the conditions? Like, are you just an all spinnerbait guy?
I move a lot on changing that. If it's cool, I like a tandem Colorado and the bigger willow leaf. But if it gets in the spring, and I throw double willow leaf, and then kind of if I get in tannic water, I may go double Colorado, or dirty water for sure, the double Colorado. I change a lot. I got a pile of spinnerbaits.
Yeah, okay, that's guys. I didn't know he threw spinnerbaits. Okay, I thought he was just Alabama rig guy, right? Like everybody else, says you catch him with the scope, but I think you just a well-rounded catch him with anything.
Well, when we catch them.
Yeah, when
we don't always catch them.
Yeah, well, do you have any spinning rods? Do you use a spinning rod at all?
Yeah, I got one.
Okay, got one. I got 2 now. I had to get 2 with that hover rig, and then I started playing with the drop shot a little bit. But man, I like my before the year I had goals. Like, I don't know about you, like fishing goals, but like me, I was like, hey, I want to get better at a drop shot. And then a finesse swim bait, like a light finesse swim bait. I watched Johnny, with who I work for, catch them on it at Table Rock, Beaver Lake, and those lakes, more clean and deeper than here. But I was like, I want to get good with it. But here I am, I still just don't throw them. I just keep them spinning rods in the boat. Like, I mean, I've caught some fish on the hover rig, but I
throw a drop shot some. I throw a shaky head some, very little.
Yeah.
I throw a floating worm on it more than anything.
Yeah, floating worm. Because Joey Safuentes, when he won it this last year on the drop shot, where were they at again? Man,
Seminole.
Yeah. And how he was fishing was just pretty neat to me. But I know Joey is really good with it. I mean, he's been fishing that thing forever. I mean, he has like 20, probably 30 spinning rods in the boat.
Yeah. And
so it kind of inspired me to be like, hey, I need to catch him. I need to get better with the drop shot. But then I was like, time out. He's been doing it forever. I got years to go. So I just kind of put it over there. I love to power fish.
Those electronics, you can hold fast a little.
That's right.
You figure out what's making those fish work or react, and you can skip steps. I think.
Yeah.
I'm just learning what those fish, how they react to certain action or certain colors, certain profiles or whatever.
And I know, like I mentioned earlier with you, you've fished these lakes. These are cleaner water lakes, Washita to Gray. You got good at the muddy water, and you've been in Texas, so you're well-rounded. And the guy I work with Fish the Moment, Johnny Schultz, he just the other day, it was after that Derek's trip I had yesterday, he called me and was like, dude, you whacked him again, huh? I was like, yeah, we did. I was like, we caught him actually different though, in a way. And he's like, dude, you got to quit fishing there. And I'm like, why? You know, he's like, dude, you got to go. He's like, you got to go to Washita. You got to go to Washita this weekend. Try to catch some fish near the dam or in the Blakeleys. I used to love the Blakeleys when I was living over there. I loved it in the winter. Never fished in the summer though. He's like, you need to go figure that out. I was like, dude, I don't really want to do that right now. He's like, well, you're gonna get better. And I'm like, yeah,
July,
yeah,
gin clear water.
yeah, it's hard. And so,
Better go at night.
yeah, it's not. That's what I was like. I was like, man, I can catch him at night. I was like, but I'm not going over there. He's like, dude, that's how you're gonna get better. I was like, yeah. But anyway, I just know that it is good to be versatile, well-rounded, and you are well-rounded. And I'm gonna keep fishing my Texas lakes and go to these tri lakes a little bit for now. You know, I got to come over here eventually, but yeah. Hey, anybody else? Anything? I know you've already mentioned your sponsors, which I appreciate. But anybody else you want to give a shout out to?
Just everybody that's always texting me, congratulating me, or even I have some people that after I have a bad tournament will say, "Man, you'll catch them." You know,
Yeah.
Don't shake that one off. Both of those mean tons to me.
Yeah.
People congratulate
When's
me.
your last bad tournament? I mean, you won out here last Friday.
Last
right?
night I had a bad one.
Where were you at last night?
The Gray. Yeah.
This guy fishes a lot, people. I'm just telling you right now. So how was the Gray?
The Gray, that's a 3 fish limit. We had 2 keepers a boat. We didn't go in the weigh-in. We just kept fishing.
That's what I'm talking about. I think that's how I would do it. If I don't have fish, I'm gonna figure them out. Did you figure them out though?
We figured out what the fish are doing a little better. I think that place is fishing different than it always has my whole entire life.
Yeah.
Because there's grass.
There's grass now. So I don't want to, I guess, get all into it. So I grew up fishing grass, like on that.
I did.
Yeah. So, and I kind of need to go. I guess I can talk about this a little bit, not like the juice. So when I started fishing, the grass was at Washita. Then it died, and so I love winter fishing. Yeah. I don't know about you. You're good at it, but I don't know if you hunt. Do you hunt?
Oh yeah, I like to hunt as much as I like to fish.
So I don't hunt. I would fish. Now I did some duck hunting here and there, but like I'd fish. So that grass died, but then I got word it was still in the Blakeleys. So I lived over there. I found it. Like it never really died in parts, and so I figured it out. And now this was of course 2D sonar only and mapping. The guy that let me use his boat, and then me and Johnny, we went and figured out this grass deal. And so now it's coming back everywhere. Like, I did my electronic trip the other day, and I found it in spots, I'm not going to say on camera, in places that I've never seen it. Just from graphing, finding. But even that day on the electronic trip, this just goes to show me. We did some electronics, trying to find some fish. We were looking for fish and timber. We looked for fish on some flats, high spots, and I'm just doing some teaching. And it was tough. Like, once again, clear water, right? The front already came in through. Then it got sun. It was just tough. But then last hour, the guy I was with, he was like, hey, I don't fish grass much. I was like, dude, I used to fish it. Let's go give it a shot. I read the wind, went to one point there in Crystal. I was like, hey, this looks all right. I tied on a jig, and I found that edge, which with the live scope, everybody, you can see the edge now. Start swimming that jig. Oh, dude, it was fun. Now, I lost a big. I lost a 6. Like, man, it made me sick. But I go back to, I was like, wow, I grew up doing this. I just probably don't need to go out there to Mountain Harbor and Avon. You know, I need to just go fish that grass, but I like the grass. I don't know about the Gray, though. Them fish there.
I like the grass at Washita.
I say you, Washita, see, that's the thing. I guess Washita and the Gray, I was talking about that, and you probably, you know, like you're saying, the Gray, that grass is there. Them fish might not know how to use it, or some do.
I think so.
It's both.
It's just, you got to spend some time at that place and figure out where the good grass is.
That's it.
And figure out where the fish are in it at. And
what won that night? There's been some big fish caught over there.
I didn't even go away. I have no idea.
What's been winning?
It's been last week. 3 fish took 10 pounds, and there was
pretty good.
Yeah, there's 2 other 9-pound strings too. So
Hamilton. Have you heard about Hamilton lately?
Yeah, they've been smoking.
Catching bigs.
7s and 8s.
9 10s. I mean, there's been like 5 10s caught this summer.
20 pounds.
Like, I want to go to Hamilton. Like, I mean.
Well, it'll probably take 17 plus here tonight.
Oh, no, yeah, but that'll be between the. I don't want to. It's going to be between you and Trent and Brad, and there's some other guys, I mean, I know win it too. But yeah, y'all catch them here.
They're here. I don't know. We grew up fishing here, so it makes a difference, of course. But
yeah.
But there is, I think it's getting better. I think there's more 3 to 5 pound fish than there used to be. But
did you see for Greer's Ferry? Someone sent me this the other day. Greer's Ferry, the Game and Fish is talking about, or maybe started putting grass in it.
Really?
Yeah, someone sent me that. My phone's right here, or I would pull it up. But I don't know if they started it or if they voted on it. But
I don't know, but Mr. Bass 12 pounds won this year
At
there at
Greer's.
Greer, so
Yeah.
in March, so that's kind of scary.
Well, this goes one thing, like you just said, Greer's Ferry, I've only fished it once my whole life. One reason why I didn't do tournaments at times is because like they go to Greer's in March or April, and I was like, I don't want to go to Greer's and catch 8 or 9 pounds. Like, and some guys are like, oh, it's a challenge. I'm like, no, I'd rather keep fishing Ouachita and catch 15 or 20 or go to Fork, or I like to fish Fork a lot, so I'd always kind of travel down there. But man, dude, I appreciate you being on. I bet say I know we're getting close. What's it? It's 5:20. Well, you got a little time before the tournament. I know Matt already mentioned he don't like to go out before the tournament and check it out. All of his buddies are over there. Saw his boat at the ramp and like, what are you doing? And he had to verify that he was here. But anyway, guys, hey, we appreciate it. Please like and subscribe the YouTube channel. Remember, this podcast is on almost every podcast platform right now. Apple iTunes, Spotify, Amazon. There's a couple podcast platforms I don't even know the names of it's on. Appreciate you guys. And leave us any comments. If you have any questions for Matt, please go ahead and ask. I probably should have said it at the beginning. And I'll get them back to you. But once again, we'll see you on the next one.
Thank you, Jimmy.
Yeah.